Hello, everyone. Today we will introduce the SUBM1 indicator to see its usage and some features. Okay, let's open this indicator first. The SUBM1 indicator is based on kinetic intensity analysis and top-bottom divergence combined with short-term and medium-term momentum changes to determine the rising or falling trend. Some high probability buying points or sell opportunities. Let's now backtest its effect. The effect of this indicator. Let's take the recent performance of the 3 times S&P as an example. Let's take a look at UPRO ETF from the decline in February until now in May. Let's take a look at this big decline. Actually, on December 5th, there is a top signal here. There's a little man. This is to set a stop loss from the previous rise, such a big rise. If there is such a sell signal, it should be taken seriously because it be a local high point after it appeared once here. The stock price had a small correction, but it was pulled back later. On February 19th, it rose on February 20th. It closed with a negative line after the signal came out on this day. It was a peak point from February 21st. It experienced a sharp decline. There were tariffs and other news and many other various news, which made the stock market very volatile. But then we don't need to pay too much attention to this news because once the trend of the stock is formed, it's not that a good news or any event can pull it back, or in a rising market, or a bad news can make the stock price plummet from February 20th until April 8th. On April 9th, there was a turning point in the trade war. After the downward trend was formed, it must reach a key price before it stabilizes. It will stabilize when a sell signal appeared in this wave. We have to wait until here. There is a buying signal here. The first wave of a temporary bottoming out. It's a temporary stop from here to here. There was still a certain increase after this signal appeared. There was a rise of about 14%. There was a 14% increase, but the downward momentum has not ended. So as it continues to fall here, if you buy here, your stop loss should be placed here. So if you set a loss here, you won't lose money. After setting this stop loss, if it rebounds directly here, then you can directly start to make a profit. But here, because the downward momentum has not ended. So it came to a reversal here, and then there was a rapid decline. After a rapid decline, it fell to a very deep key price level. There was a buying signal on this day. But because the tariff was postponed that day, there was a sharp rise on the same day because the rise on that day was too large. So I don't recommend that you to chase the rising price here because the rise on this day was too big. Many people didn't have time to get on. So if you chase the rising trend of this K line, you will definitely at the highest point. There will be opportunities later and buy it when it pulls back. So you should not chase this one to chase the rise when there is a super big positive line. Instead, you should wait for some good opportunities later to enter slowly. In fact, there were many opportunities later, like this day and the subsequent pullback. As long as the price doesn't break below this Yanxian, this position, it is actually a good opportunity to try third. We didn't say that after this happened to say that this is a good buying opportunity, because after this signal appears here, we will observe whether to buy on the same day or wait for a better price and buy in batches. Even if we didn't buy in all these time periods, we didn't buy anything. But April 22nd, it was also a very good buying point. This decline did not create a new low at first, and a positive line began to form, forming a bottom This position is very good to try to open a position because you can set a stop loss here. The profit and loss ratio is still good. Buying on April 22nd, it has risen by 42% by this day. Let's take a look. Let's look at the previous buys and sells. There is a August 6th, 2024 appeared at this place. There was a relatively large rise later. The last time it appeared was in 2023. September and October, there was a buy signal. There was a big rise here. It was in September 2022. There is a buying signal in June 2022. There was a buy signal. 2022 was a bear market. So in this year, many people may lose money after buying, but with this signal, you can basically buy at a local low point. So if you set a stop loss, you won't suffer big losses in a bear market like 2022 as long as you don't lose. You are the biggest winner. Look, there's a buying point here, and here is a buying point. They are actually good. There is still a certain rise here, even if you buy here. Even if you buy at this place, and set a stop loss here, you won't lose money. If you buy at this place and this place, then you can experience a 2-year super bull market. There will be a several times increase. Oh, okay. This is in 2020, COVID-19. There was a super panic at that time. So in these places, there are some dense buying points. If you buy, you must set a stop loss. If you set a stop loss, even if you are stopped out by this stop loss, you won't lose much money. But if it continues to fall later and a buying signal appears again, it's a good buying opportunity. Okay, let's look at the previous year, 2019. Here is June 2019, which was in 2018, which was also a correction caused by the trade war. So if we try here, in the short term later, we can get a relatively large increase in the short term. After the signal appeared, we also bought it. We bought at this place and tried. We tried for 126 days, 68% increase, which is quite considerable. Okay, let's take a look at some of its sell signals. On September 20th, 2018, there was a sell signal on this day. There was a signal to set a stop loss. After such a rise before reaches a local high point, when this signal appears, we should set a stop loss position to protect your profits. Okay, it's the same here. After a more than 60% increase after that, here's a signal to set a stop loss. Here we want to emphasize that when these signals appear, doesn't mean we must sell, but we can go to at the point where these signals appear to set a stop loss at a certain point to protect our profits, to avoid turning profits into losses. So when this signal appears, we set a stop loss. If later the stock price falls below our stop loss point, we will sell the stock. If the stock price does not fall below our stop loss point, we will continue to hold and let it continue to rise. Of course, we need to combine these with other indicators to see together, because it is impossible to rely on one indicator to judge the stock price trend. For example, when signals start to appear here, when it starts to rise, set a stop loss or a moving average as your exit point. So if it doesn't break through a certain line, you can hold on. Like here, if you don't break through this green moving average, you can hold it forever. When these signals appear, you can set a stop loss or sell a portion of it. But the stock price may still rise. So we let our funds continue to expand profits until a high point appears, and then break through a certain point. We sell all of them. In this way, we can both capture the gains and control the risk. Okay, let's take a look at the time when other selling signals appeared. Okay, here is a setting to set a stop loss, fortunately, on this day, because it has risen by 200% before in the stock price. may fluctuate after that. So at this time, when this signal appears, it is a relatively important signal. Yes, we can choose to sell some of our positions or set a stop loss if it breaks through a key point, such as if we break through this green moving average, we will sell it. This way, we can avoid the subsequent decline. Okay, let's continue.
Okay. If we take profit here,
and the stock price stabilizes here and then rises,
how should we re-enter the market?
Here's the this indicator does not give a clear signal.
So a single indicator, we can't capture all of them.
It's rise and fall. Only by combining with other indicators
or other tools
can we make a more comprehensive judgment
whether the stock price will continue to rise,
whether it is worth continuing to enter or continue to wait and see. So we use this indicator and other indicators to make a judgment. In this way, we will have a relatively high winning rate. Here, I'll turn on another indicator, EES11. Nice, it prompts us here that there is a signal to enter the market. So here we enter again to try again, because here, this is also a good point. To try again, the ratio of profit and loss is good. So we buy here, set the stop loss here, set a stop loss at the lowest point. If it fails, we will continue to wait and see. But here it didn't fall back, but it ushered in a very long rise. So our attempt here was successful. For those that have risen for a long time in a sharp rise, when it reaches a peak in a certain band, they appear again. These sell and stop loss signals appear. We should take them more seriously because when the stock price is so high, when such signals appear, every subsequent signal will be more reliable than the previous signals. When the stock price has fallen for a year, when there is a buying signal again, we should also take these buying signals more seriously, because after such a long period of decline in the stock, the subsequent buying signals will be more reliable than the previous one. After such a year of decline, after a sharp decline, when this buying signal appears again, its accuracy will be higher and the subsequent increase will definitely be greater. From here, if you hold for a long time until the first signal to set a stop loss appears, if it doesn't break through a key point, we will hold on to it. If it breaks through, we exit. If there is another entry opportunity, we will continue to enter. Okay. Here is another signal. We set a stop loss here. When the stock price breaks a key point, we will exit the market. Okay. We'll exit here in this way. If we get a signal here and we set a stop loss here, we can avoid 88 days, a 28% decline. So if we get a signal here after successfully closing the position here during the high period, we don't need to wait or guess anxiously when to continue buying and when to sell. So we will have a very good mentality. If you have a bad mentality, anxious, panicked, or impatient, you will make mistakes. Well, from the previous drawdown, the performance of this indicator is still very good. It can capture some big waves, the starting point of rise. And at the big highs, it can generate signals for setting stop loss, avoid a sharp decline. At least it can guarantee you. In general, this indicator is still very successful. Okay, that's all for this program. Thank you all.